Hi everyone, it's Keren here from tuppencecolored.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me. This is the card that I'm going to be making today, so stay with me and I'll show you how I made it. I've prepared my layers, so this is my base card. I've taken my sheet of the thick Whisper White and I've sliced it right down the middle, but it's a little bit more than a middle. It's 4 1/4 inches that way, and I've cut it off at the bottom at 11.5. Put a fold line at 5 3/4, so that's my card base. And I've cut my layer of basic black, which is, let me get my Stampin' trimmer in here so I can measure it because I have forgotten. So it is 4 inches by 5.5, so it's 1/4 inch smaller all round. And I've got a layer of Whisper White, and that is 3 7/8 by 5 3/8. Alright, so that is just 1/8 inch smaller all round than the black card. You see that? Okay. Well, I was going to do some stamping first, but since I've got the stamping trimmer up here, I may as well do some cutting. So I've got another piece of Whisper White, and I've cut this at 3/4 inch, and I'm going to slice it into 3/4 inch squares. So that's 1, that's 2, and I'm lining it up on the actually that's not very straight at all, is it? I'll do that one from the other end. So I'm lining it up on the right hand edge of the Stampin' trimmer, because it can be very difficult sometimes to cut 3/4 inch like going the other way, because you've got nothing much to hold on to. And a third one, so I just need 3. There we go. And I can put those on one side for later use. Put that out of the way, since I had it up anyway. I was going to start with the stamping, but since we had that there, do you know what, let's make the most of it. Okay, so I've got my piece of Whisper White, and I'm using this stamp set, Watercolour Wishes. Now this is the stamp set that comes in the Watercolour Wishes card kit, and I used up all the card kit bits to make the cards, but because this comes with it, after you've used up all the cards, then you've got this left over. So I'm using this stamp here, which is Happiest Birthday Wishes. It's a photopolymer stamp set. I'm using basic black, and I'm just going to ink up my stamp. My basic black archival. Now I'm going to put this, and I'm just hoping that I get it straight. And I'm just putting it there. And let's make a decision. So I'm holding that 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm pulling that away. And you know what? I'm not happy with that at all, because it was straight, but that hasn't come out very well. So fortunately, two-sided paper. We'll try again. And this time I'm going to make sure I've got plenty of ink on my stamp, and I'm going to try and make sure that that is straight. And whoops, I've got ink. I'm a bit heavy-handed on the ink, so I'll get a bit of paper towel here. Wipe that off because I don't want that contaminating my card. I'm absolutely sure there's no ink where it shouldn't be on that block, and you see, so making sure I'm straight and round about there. And this time I'm going to put a little bit of pressure on the top. Now photopolymer stamps, you do need to give the ink a little bit of time to transfer, and you do need to have a little bit of something squishy underneath. Now people use piercing mats or stamping pads. Quite honestly, I find my silicone mat is just about right. I'm a bit of a heavy-handed stamper, and I find that if I use anything that's too soft, I tend to push too hard, and I get, you know, I kind of get bits of ink where I don't want them. So that is why I use the silicone mat. But you use whatever works for you. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mount this up onto my piece of basic black. So I've got my snail. And there's, see the bit that went wrong, but you know what, once it's glued down, nobody's going to see that. Nobody will know. Okay, that's a very, very narrow border around the edge of this mat. Make sure that it's exactly where I want it to be before I push down. And I think that'll do it. I think that's about right. Okay, so just got a very, very narrow border, and no I haven't. So let's take that off. Try it now. Luckily, snail is quite forgiving. Actually, that bit had adhered, so let's take that out of the way. If you ever get you ever make something and you glue it down with the tape or snail, I'm going to turn that over, and you find that actually it wasn't quite in the right place after all, then what you need to have on hand if you're in the UK is lighter fluid. So, okay, and I get cheap lighter fluid. I get it from the pound shop. It's not very expensive at all. It's called, people call them petrol lighters, as they do in the UK anyway, and it's actually not petrol, it's naphtha, and that will dissolve the sticky, but it won't harm your paper. It won't harm, you know, it won't harm what you've done. It won't spoil what you've done. So actually I haven't needed to resort to it on this occasion. I think I'm reasonably happy with that, but that is what you need if you can't get a hold of, in America they have something called undo, which we can't get in this country because it can't be imported. But if you can't get hold of undo, then you need lighter fluid. So I digressed. So let's get back to the project, shall we? Okay, so this is our stitched ribbon, stitched satin ribbon in the basic black. Now this is going to be retiring, and I'm kind of sad about that, because I think this is really, really elegant and sophisticated. So I'm going to be keeping it. I'm probably going to wrap parcels with it, or put it on projects that aren't for Stampin' Up. And where's my sticky tape? Yeah, you wouldn't believe it, would you? Because before I start these videos, I make sure I have got everything that I need where I want it, and then things just walk off. Okay, I'm going to use a bit of fast fuse for now. I did have just common or garden ordinary cheapest chip sticky tape, trying to get from the stationers, and because nobody's going to see it, and it'll do a good enough job. But well, you know, all right, we'll use fast fuse instead. We don't mind. So again, I'm wrapping that around my card. And there you go. Okay. Right. So I've already cut my 3/4 inch white whisper white shapes, and I've got a piece of our foil card here and our 1 inch square punch. Now again, this is retiring. Stampin' Up have retired an awful lot of punches this time around. But, you know, things have been with us. Things have been around a while, and you know, it's time to move on. So there is some gorgeous, gorgeous new stuff coming along in the new catalogue. Okay, so a bit of snail, which is in my Christmas sweetie, Christmas sweetie box, which I bought at Christmas, not because I liked the sweeties that were in it, well they were quite nice, but because I thought, oh, that's a nice container. I used to be a primary school teacher, and honestly, I would only buy margarine if it was in pretty tubs, because after I'd finished with the margarine, I'd use the tubs to store things in my classroom. Confessions of a primary school teacher. I think we all did it. You know, my husband would be there going, "Can't we have such and such a brand?" I go, "No, don't like that. Don't like the tub on that one." Oh dear, how dreadful. Never mind. Okie dokie. Here it is. And another item that is retiring. Stampin' Up are retiring the itty bitty accents punches. So grab them while we've got them. That's all I can say. Punch down that way, because I have really, really loved these. They have been so useful. But do you know what? All good things. Onwards and upwards. Okay. Now I think I'll use dimensionals to put these on, and because they're quite small, I'm going to use the edge pieces of the dimensionals. So, oops. So stick that one down. 1, 2, and 3. I made a card like this for my father-in-law for his birthday, but I cut letters with the little letters dies that just said Dad across the front, and he liked it. He said he liked it anyway. Although I don't know whether he'd say he didn't like it to my face. But, although I don't know, he can be pretty blunt, so maybe he would. Who knows? Right, okay, and I was just about to make life difficult for myself by putting those on before I've attached these to the front of the card. So fortunately, that was a good save. And I will use fuse for this. Right, now I'm going to kind of eyeball where I want these to go, because I want them to be even. And my best bet is to sort of arrange them until I'm happy with how they're looking. That one that way. Okay. Right, so I'm going to start with this one. And I'm using fuse because I'm sticking it down onto ribbon. So I'm just put that evenly, and then I'm going to do the one on the other end. Oops. Helps if I use the fast fuse the right way up. I'm having a day of it. Come on, you. Come on, fast fuse. Play with me. That's right. And let's bring that one in. And again, trying to make it even from either end. Is that about right? Is that where I want it to be? You know, it's dreadful when you have... Now see, that looks like somebody's put 2 eyes in there. It would look like a pair of square glasses. I've just been to the opticians and got new specs. I can actually see things now. It's a great advantage. Okay, and this one, now try and get this one evenly in between the two. Is that about right? Do a bit of wigglying. You see what? Let's try it that way, because what it is, I've got the square in the middle is not quite even, and it's not balanced visually, so let's try and get that right. Okay. Talk amongst yourselves while I fiddle with this. Okay. There, well, that's good enough. That'll do. Okay, so now I have my little glittery stars. Stars? Hearts. They're hearts. I can't tell the difference. Because, you know, they're very similar except that they're completely different. Yada yada yada. Okay. And there we go. Okay. Okay. So let's put some snail on that. Put that to the front of our card. Let's bring that in. Line up, actually. When you fold a card, sometimes you will get one edge that's slightly longer than the other. It's because of the thickness of the card itself. When that happens, it's not a mistake, but that bit needs to be the front of your card because it allows people to get their fingernails under there and to open it up a bit. So that needs to be the bit that opens. There we go. Just move that one slightly. Again, dimensionals can be quite forgiving. Am I done? I think I'm done. Or am I? No, I'm not. I'm going to do one more thing. Because this is use it up before it's gone time, I am going to get a candy dot. I'm going to get a real red candy dot. Just the one. And I'm just going to put it over the eye in Happiest. And that, I think, is done. So there is the finished card, and I do hope that you've enjoyed this video. If so, please do think about giving me a like. I'd very much love it if you would leave me a comment, and if you do enjoy my videos, then please do think about subscribing to my channel because I will be posting more soon. If you want to find out more about me or about Stampin' Up, then I have a blog and I have a Facebook page. More information below this video. If you want to purchase Stampin' Up products, then there is also a link to my Stampin' Up shop where you can get your hands on everything that actually we've still got left before the new catalogue comes into play. But meanwhile, thank you very much for joining me, and I hope I will see you again soon. Bye bye.